Hey folks, my name is Randy Piku. I'm an NRA firearms instructor. Okay, today we're going to talk about this little Ruger LCP, which is a .380 caliber pistol. Is it my favorite pistol? No, it's not. But it's definitely better than not having any pistol at all. It's a gun that is not very accurate. It has to be a close range situation when you use this if you want to expect any result. So anyway, a lot of people have these, and so we're going to talk about how you tear it down, disassemble it, how you clean it, and how you reassemble it. First thing we do is we're going to make sure all ammunition is out of this pistol. So I'm going to rip the slide back, lock it in position. We're going to release the magazine. We're going to make a visual check inside the chamber. There's nothing there. You can actually physically check it if you want to. Now, to tear down this pistol, to disassemble this pistol, what you have to do, return the slide into this position. There's a little pin right here, this little round thing here. And I haven't been successful. Some people can pull it up with their fingernail. I can't do that. So I get a little small screwdriver or something, and you're going to pull that pin up. It's real simple, it's just hard. There you go. Pin is popped up, you want to remove it. Then you can take the slide right out the front. All right, next thing we do is like with, you want to put this pin somewhere we're not going to lose it because it's very tiny. Just like all the other semi-automatics, you've got a recoil spring that needs to be removed first, like so. Then you're going to take this little tiny barrel, slide it forward a little bit, lift it up, and pull it out of the slide. So now it's completely disassembled and ready to clean. We'll start with the barrel, like I always do, and we're going to take a brush, a bore brush, and from the rear of the barrel, we're going to put that bore brush in there, holding the T-handle of the guide rod that allows the brush to rotate and follow the rifling of the barrel. Push it forward. You're trying to get any kind of, like, last time it was fired, there's probably some loose residue in there that you want to get it out before you wet everything down. And that brush will do that. Okay, then you're going to take a dry brush, go to the slide, make sure this brush is dry. And you're going to dry brush the slide. All the rails, channels, grooves, crannies, everything in here, you want to brush the face of the breech. Anything that could possibly have some carbon on it, you want to dry brush it first. Now the lower, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dry brush it. Pay special attention to the rails. It's a very simple little pistol. Now we're going to use a little solvent to start to clean this pistol. We'll take a patch and we're going to put it in the patch holder. Take a little of this Hoppy's number 9 solvent. Wet that patch down. Go back to the barrel. Run that patch down the bore. Now you're just mopping the bore out, trying to get some solvent in there and let it rest in there for a little bit. You can take the same patch and brush the feed ramp here. It tends to get dirty. Back of the barrel, behind this lug. Another area you want to put a little solvent in and get that clean. Okay. Now moving on to the slide. We've dry brushed it, so we're going to take our same brush, put a little Hoppy's solvent on that. Now you can use any solvent. Hoppy's is a any solvent designed for cleaning a gun. Hoppy's is the traditional, been around quite a while. So we want to wet brush the slide. Get that solvent down into all those channels in the rail. Okay, using the same brush, we're going to go to the lower here, and we are going to wet brush this also with some solvent. Now this lower is not as complicated as a lot, so you can be a little aggressive with brushing this one. Now we'll take our rag and we'll wipe down all of this solvent that is there, along with the residue that it has released. If it's doing its job, it's going to dissolve a lot of that carbon. We'll take the slide, do the same thing. Get this completely dry if you can. Before you lubricate it, you want all that solvent gone. And you don't get every bit of it. It will eventually evaporate. I'll take a Q-tip. Finish drying it out. And you can see it's picked up quite a bit of residue. Move to the lower. Maybe get a new Q-tip here. Oh, happens every time. Now let's move back to the barrel that we have saturated with solvent. We're going to take our bore brush again, entering the barrel from the rear, holding it by the T-handle so the brush will rotate. Now that's the last time I'll use the brush. Show you a little trick here. This patch may be too big. I may have to get a smaller one, but let's see. We'll see how that's really, puts a lot of drag in the barrel and scrubs it out by just putting the patch on top of the bore brush. We're gonna do that one more time. There we go. All right, now we're going to take our patch holder. We're going to go back to the barrel and run this through several times. And as you can see, it didn't pick up a whole lot of residue. That's because the pressure created on that patch around the bore brush really cleaned that out. So, looks pretty good, looks pretty clean. All right, so now we want to lubricate it, which we, as always, you don't want to over lubricate any gun. So we're going to put one little drop of oil. Let's see if I can get this here where you can see. Right there. One little drop of oil there. Take our Q-tip. Try to spread it in there. A little goes a long way with this. Then we'll take that same Q-tip that has a little oil on it and just lightly oil areas that, you know, like the channel here where the slide's gonna go in. Just don't need a lot. You think you're not doing a lot, you don't want to do a lot. Okay, I'm looking at the slide. I'm seeing a little bit too much shine here, so I'm going to take this pick try to get up in here where the Q-tip didn't even reach. We're going to get some of this oil out of here. No matter how much you wipe this, you're going to always leave a little film of oil there. Unless you use a solvent again or a detergent of some sort, you're not going to break that oil away from that metal completely. All right, that looks better. Now we're going to lubricate this barrel. A little bit of gun oil on it. We're going to put it in the barrel, run it through a couple times. You see it's released a little bit more of that residue. The oil will do that, but that's not critical. You want to leave that film of oil in the barrel, and that is going to inhibit rust from happening, especially if you don't use your gun. Okay, so you've got a film of oil inside the barrel. You've got a film of oil on the slide, lubrication on the lower. And so now it's time to reassemble this little rascal. So we'll take our slide, we'll put our barrel back in position here. We'll take our recoil spring, and it sits in here. See, there's nothing on the end of this spring. This spring just actually, the spring itself seats right there. There's a little concave area right here that this spring is going to seat in. There it is. It's in that spot. It's all reseated. And we're going to put the slide assembly back on the lower. Now, what we have to do is put this pin back in that I put to the side. This is a little tricky because if you can see, there's a little spring bar right here that kind of restricts you. So when you put this pin back in, you're going to have to tilt it upwards just a little bit to get over that bar, and then you can snap it in place. Let's see if we can do this. First try. There you go. Should be there. Sometimes you got to manipulate the slide a little bit. There you go. It went right in. And so you were good. We're going to take our empty magazine, put it back in the make sure it functions. There is no manual safety on this particular gun. It's got a very, very hard trigger pull. It's kind of like a semi-automatic revolver type gun. You just pick it up and pull the trigger. It's going to fire with a hard trigger pull. And there you go. You have a Ruger LCP that has now been field stripped. It's been cleaned, lubricated, and it's been reassembled. I hope this helps you guys.